Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We're sitting outside of my local Walmart neighborhood market right now, and today we're going to talk all about snacks. My kids are pretty good eaters at mealtime, but they also eat a lot of snacks, and right now snacks are getting kind of pricey. So I thought we'd talk just a little bit about different swaps we can make, how we can save money. We're gonna make a few snacks. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite inexpensive snacks to make. So let's get started. So I put up a question on my Instagram stories earlier today asking you guys what snacks are you buying? You know, what kinds of things are you often getting in your cart? What are you buying for your kids, for yourself, for your spouse, for somebody else in your household? You know, what are the things that you keep buying just because they're kind of like staple snack items in your house? Several people mentioned chips on that little Instagram story that I put up. That's probably one of the most mentioned snacky items on that thread. And I have noticed the price of chips going up. Now, we are coming into Memorial Day here in a few weeks after this post, and I do notice that the price of those kinds of things will go down. There'll be some good sales on chips, so you might watch for that. If I am making the switch from name brand to store brand, I'm gonna start with really basic ones like tortilla chips, you know, or corn chips, or just plain potato chips. Things that have a more singular flavor like Doritos or Cool Ranch Doritos or Cheetos. I'm not gonna make the jump from name brand to store brand right away because those are a little harder to do. I do like these Cantina style chips and the great value, and they actually have them in stock today, so I'm gonna grab a couple bags of those because they are a favorite. If you really wanted to save some money though, and you still wanna have your crunchy snack, ditch the chips and swap them out for popcorn. Even microwave popcorn, like in the bag, like bag microwave popcorn, you're getting a lot more bang for your buck, you know, depending on the brand you buy, and most stores are going to carry a store brand. But I actually started a few years back to pop my own popcorn at home. I invested in a silicone air popper. I usually have one. It's from Amazon, linked in my description box. It's not very expensive, and that thing has come in so handy. Even my kids know how to use it. Popcorn kernels are cheap. You can still get 2 pounds here at Walmart for a little over $2. I see them in stores all over the place. I've ordered them from Thrive Market. I've ordered them from Imperfect. They're readily available, and then I can season them however I want. My favorite way, honestly, is just a little butter and salt and pepper, but I see popcorn seasonings at Aldi. I see them here at Walmart. Like I said, you can order them from places. You can make your own seasonings, and it's just one of those snacks that once you make that initial investment in that popcorn popper, you're gonna have some really cheap snacks. It's gonna pay for itself really quickly. Also, saltines, even in the store brand, are back in stock. For a few months, I feel like we were having trouble finding those. And at Christmas time, I shared with you a recipe for these spicy crackers, these firecracker crackers, if you will, that are super easy. It's a no-bake recipe. It would be a really inexpensive snack because it's basically these crackers with a little bit of oil and seasoning. And you just put them in a bag, shake it all up, and you let it lay on the counter. The Triscuits are attacking me. They don't like that I'm suggesting generic brand. But to make those crackers, it's super easy, no bake. I will leave that recipe linked in the description box below if you're interested. These Walmart brand, Great Value brand white cheddar cheese crackers that are sort of the dupe of the Cheez-It white cheddar are so good. They are absolutely delicious. I really cannot tell the difference. My kids cannot tell the difference. But the price for a 12.4 ounce box, $1.63, as opposed to $3.14 for the same size box in the name brand, this in my opinion is a good swap. I think these are really good, a really good dupe. But I am actually going to pick up a few packages of these Great Value brand oyster crackers. They're only $1 for a 9 ounce bag. I'm gonna take these home and make something yummy with them. Is anybody else's kids totally obsessed with the Chobani flips? I'll admit, I'm obsessed too. I like this one. This one is our favorite, the key lime crumble. They're $1.18. They do go on sale for about $1 a piece at my local grocery store, and it looks like that's the price you can get down here if you're buying the big pack with 8 of them. The problem with this is that, like, we're not fans of all of these flavors. So if I have to buy the big pack to get the $1 a piece price, these flips, these s'mores ones, are $4 for 4 of them. These are $4 for 4 of them, but they don't have the lime kind, which is our favorite. I do have a little trick for the yogurt, but I need to pick up a few ingredients here, and I'm going to show you how I make something similar at home with those ingredients, so stay tuned. I actually need to pick something up in here. I thought to myself earlier, I'm going to Walmart later, I'll just pick that up there. I should write it down so I don't forget. Nah, I won't forget. And I've been standing here for seriously like 30 seconds, just dryer sheets. It was dryer sheets. I gotta go get dryer sheets. One of the things that several people mentioned were mini muffins. And I assume they're talking about the mini muffins that come in the little pouches, like you buy a box of them. There's 5 pouches in there and it says on the box 20 muffins, but what it means is 4 muffins per pouch and there's 5 pouches. So there's 20 mini muffins in the box. But they come out to like 70 cents to 75 cents per pouch. My initial thought was to have a look around the bakery and see if Walmart has like a large package of mini muffins. I know that they have baked goods like donut holes and mini donuts and Rice Krispie treats, and they do sometimes have flats of little individually wrapped muffins, and they're small, but the muffins themselves are a little bigger than one mini muffin, but one of those muffins would actually be a pretty decent portion for my children. And of course, don't forget to check the Walmart discount bakery rack. I know I mention it in almost every video, but I usually come across lots of different items there depending on the day, and lots of them are baked good items, you know, like sweetbreads or donuts or cookies. They had some cupcakes today marked down, some little mini cupcakes. You know, you can toss those in the freezer and you can get them out whenever you need them. And you knew this was coming, right? You knew I was going to say we can actually make mini muffins with lots of different things, one of them being a box of cake mix, because a muffin, let's face it, is just a naked cupcake, am I right? And I'm gonna use a super easy recipe. It's not gonna take me very long. It's going to actually produce quite a few more muffins than one of those little boxes of mini muffin pouches would be. It's gonna be less expensive. Pound for pound, ounce for ounce, muffin for muffin. Muffin for why can I not say muffin? Pound for pound, ounce for ounce, muffin for muffin. They're gonna be cheaper. To make the muffins, I'm using 1 cake mix. I'm just using a regular white cake mix. A yellow cake mix would work well too, I think. 3 eggs, half a cup of milk, 1/3 of a cup of oil, and I'm going to add just a teaspoon of cinnamon to mine as well. Can you guys hear the thunder? It is raining cats and dogs right now. It's storming outside. I'm just gonna mix those up and then put that into my muffin tin. I don't use little muffin liners. I just grease my muffin tins really generously with a little bit of oil. I'm also going to be making just a quick streusel topping. I have about 3 tablespoons of butter here. I'm gonna melt and I'm gonna add a half a cup each of brown sugar and flour, mix that all together so that I can put that on top of the batter in each of the little muffin tins before I pop it into the oven. My oven is preheating to 425. It's almost there. I'm actually gonna start the muffins at 425. I'm just gonna pop them into the oven and let them bake for about 2 to 3 minutes at that higher temperature. And then I'm gonna bump it down to 350 for the rest of the baking time. These are the muffins that came in a box. I found them at my Dollar General. They were $3 for a box with 5 packages. There are 4 muffins in each of these packages. These are the muffins I made with about $3 worth of ingredients, and there are 40 muffins here. Actually, it made a few more than 40 because we taste tested a few. So I got this for $3, or I got this for $3. Now I totally get the, you know, convenience factor of this. And you know, if you watch my channel, that about half my videos are about saving money and half my videos are about saving time. So I totally get that this is like a time saver for people. But if you wanted to save a little time with this, you could just throw the batter into a couple of little mini loaf pans and make, you know, like a quick bread style that you could just slice, and then, you know, you wouldn't have to do the work of making the mini muffins. Also, I kept my muffins pretty simple. I didn't add any chocolate chips or blueberries. You could do that if you wanted to. And I'm kind of curious, like, these look really good. I wonder how these muffins compare to these. I think we should open one of these up and just look. So you can see there's a lot more muffin there. Let's see, even if I pick out like the smallest one maybe from this batch, see, even the smallest one is a lot bigger than the prepackaged one. My favorite and my kids' favorite flavor of those Chobani flip yogurts are the lime ones. And I do know that Aldi makes a copycat version, but we've tried those before and they just aren't the same. What I will do is get a container of plain Greek yogurt. This is unflavored. It's just store brand Greek yogurt. There are 32 ounces of yogurt in here, and in those Chobani flips, there's only about 4 ounces of yogurt. So this yogurt right here is the equivalent of the yogurt in about 8 of those Chobani flips. And to flavor it, I use drink flavoring. Back in my WW days, a lot of people would use Jell-O or they would use sugar-free pudding to flavor the yogurt, and I didn't care for that because it changed the consistency. These, in my opinion, don't change the consistency. Sometimes what I will do is just take about 3, maybe 4 of these and put them right here into the container and stir it up and just turn it all into lime yogurt. Or if you wanted to get strawberry or you wanted to do lemon, I mean, this works with whatever flavorings you want. But you can play around with the amount of flavoring mix and yogurt, you know, and just make it be the strength of flavor that you want. And then to replicate the crunchy topping, I look for this cereal in my cereal aisle. It is the Kellogg's Cracklin' Oat Bran. And it doesn't look like it necessarily by the picture, but it's actually kind of sweet and cinnamony, and it's very crunchy. And I also pick up a package of white chocolate chips, and you could use sugar-free ones if you want, or you could use different kinds of chips, but I like the white chocolate in combination with this, and it does really mimic the topping that comes in those lime Chobani flips that we like. So with this stuff, I will take some of it and put it in a food processor, or sometimes I just put it in like a Ziploc bag and I take the rolling pin to it and smash it into little pieces, and then I add some of this, and voila, I've got that topping or something like it that would normally be in those yogurts. And yes, I know that I am paying about $6 total for these two things together at Walmart, but what's in here and what's in here can make the equivalent of what's in about 25 containers of that Chobani Flip yogurt. That's with being generous with it. That's with actually probably having a little bit more topping than I would get in one of those containers. By the way, this little drink powder in the yogurt is also really, really good with a sliced up apple. Like slice it up and then dice it up into little pieces and toss the yogurt with the apple. Oh, really, really good. When I was a little girl, years and years and years and years and years and years ago, my Grammy would come to Thanksgiving and Christmas every year with these crackers, these delicious snack crackers that she had made from oyster crackers. And I can remember just loving those as a kid and looking forward to her coming in with the tin that had those oyster crackers in it. So whenever I saw the recipe years later and saw that it was so simple, I was like, man, my Grammy was a smart lady, because these are pretty easy to make. So you've probably seen something like this before, or maybe these crackers, but we're gonna make some today, so I'll show you how I'm making them. I have my oven preheating to 250, and to make these oyster crackers, my Grammy used 2 packages of oyster crackers and a package of ranch seasoning. If you want to use homemade ranch seasoning, you would probably need about 3 tablespoons. 1 cup of vegetable oil. You can use butter, but Grammy used oil, so that's what I'm going to use. She used 1 teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and dill, which is funny because that's basically what homemade ranch seasoning is made out of too. And then at the end, we're gonna use a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese, about 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to mix the seasonings with the oil, toss the oil and the crackers together in my roasting pan, stir them up, make sure they're evenly coated. I'm gonna pop that into the oven for about 20 minutes and give it a stir halfway through. And then I will finish it off by sprinkling some of the Parmesan cheese on top, and that's it. I am going to get some peanut butter brownies going in the oven. I have been making this recipe since college. It has been over 20 years since I learned how to make these, and I liked them because it just calls for pantry staples that I almost always had on hand in my little college apartment, and it makes a small pan. It makes like an 8x8 or a 9x9 inch pan instead of a big like 9x13 inch pan. And you know, I mean, it's not like I was trying to eat those all by myself, but super easy recipe, yummy treat that comes together, you know, really easily if you have these ingredients. Let me show you. I will track down a link to this recipe on the internets. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I think it's not an uncommon recipe, but this is the one that I've been following for years. It is 5 tablespoons of butter, which is about 1/3 of a cup, so a little more than half a stick, 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of white sugar, and 1/2 a cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon each of baking powder and not baking soda, vanilla, and then a pinch of salt, and of course the star of the show, peanut butter. I'm sure you could sub a different kind of nut butter if you wanted in this. It calls for 1/2 a cup. And I used to get out my 1/2 a cup measuring cups and make a big old mess, but now I just get my scale out and I measure it, because 2 tablespoons is 32 grams and there are 4 tablespoons in a 1/4 cup. I need 1/2 a cup. So I need to multiply this by 4 if my mathing is correct, and it's not always, but I believe that I will need to measure out 128 grams of peanut butter, and I'm gonna measure it out right into my bowl so that I don't make a big old mess with my measuring cups. If you wanted to measure out 1/2 a cup, you can get a spoon, you can get a 1/2 a cup, maybe spray a little nonstick spray in there and it should come right out, but I find this to be the easier way to measure the peanut butter. Right now I have my peanut butter, my softened butter, and my brown sugar and my white sugar in the bowl, and I'm just mixing that all together. And I just use a wooden spoon to make these. I don't even bother getting out my mixer. I certainly don't bother getting out my stand mixer. I've always been able to mix them by hand super easy, which is another reason why I love this recipe. baking powder, vanilla, which I never measure. Does anybody measure vanilla? I don't. I just put a little bit in. 2 eggs. 1, 2. Mix, mix, mix. Oh, almost forgot the salt. I used to leave this out of baking stuff, and then I learned that, you know, there's actual like chemical things that happen when you add salt to stuff, and also it helps bring out the sweetness, so I don't leave it out. I guess you can if you want to. Peanut butter, and jelly. Peanut butter, and jelly. 1 cup of flour. Going to stir that all together, and then I just am gonna put this in the pan. I use a parchment lined 8x8 inch glass baking dish because then I can just pull them right out whenever they're done baking and I don't have very much to clean up. Yet another shortcut. And I'm gonna pop them into a 350-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. Another thing about this recipe is that the dough is so good. What is it that Kim over at the WOD says about salmonella? Don't you dare salmonella or come at me or something like that. I know you guys watch Kim. YouTube tells me. Analytics tell me people who watch my channel are also watching her channel. She's also super fun and adorable. Now, if you wanted to get fancy, you could add some chocolate chips. You could add some M&Ms. You could stir in some Reese's Pieces. Ooh, if you did that, it would probably be like one of those Reese's peanut butter cups that has the Reese's Pieces in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? So you could probably add some stuff in if you wanted. I'm just making the basic version today. Seriously, you all, this comes out perfect every time. Oh, so good. It smells so amazing. Yummy. Oh, they're so good.